Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Carriker Chronicles, the People Show. Things look a little bit different around me. It's a gut reaction. This is a bit different gut reaction. You can see the Chronicles studio behind me. You can see everything, a little bit behind the scenes, stuff you don't normally get to see. All right, why does it look so different? What's going on? If you hadn't heard, Dylan Raiola has suffered an injury and he's out for the season. Now, here's what the university put out. Keith Mann sent out Nebraska head coach Matt Rule confirmed Sunday the sophomore quarterback Dylan Raiola will miss the remainder of the season with a lower leg injury. Raiola has started 22 straight games in his Nebraska career, including all 9 games this season. Rule will be available on Monday at his regular weekly press conference at approximately 11:30 a.m. Central Time. Now, what also is being reported, all right, Nebraska starting quarterback Dylan Raiola broke the fibula in his right leg against Southern Cal on Saturday night and will be out for the rest of the season. Okay. So he has a high ankle sprain, which most people anticipated. And he also reportedly, all the universities officially said so far is lower leg injury out for the rest of the year. Matt will be available for more information. What's being reported, high ankle sprain, which kind of everyone anticipated. I got a question. Is the light bothering anybody? Is it okay? Because I can move. This is obviously not my typical spot. All right, let me know if the lights are okay. I can move around if need be. All right. And reportedly broke his fibula as well. Now, this is at least 5 to 6 weeks. Depending on what more information comes out, it may be more, but he's done for the season. Real quick, I do got to mention, we recorded. All right, we're going to go in order here. If you just want to show Dylan some love and a speedy recovery, smash the like button. Just smash the like button, show him some love, and wish him a speedy recovery. All right. So we actually spent all morning recording a show, and it's out, and it's a really good show. It's about whether Nebraska, they could finish under 500, 6-7, lose every game the rest of November, lose the bowl game, which we're going to play in, be 6-7. They could technically win every game mathematically and technically and finish 10-3. It's a really good show. Now, I talked about, we didn't have this information about Dylan. I honestly didn't expect it to come out until Monday, which is why everything's a little bit different. But go check that show out. It's a good show. There's a lot of good information I'm not going to cover here because I covered it in that show. And even though I didn't know that Dylan was out at that point, I talk about what if TJ's the quarterback. So a lot of my thoughts are going to be, what if TJ's the quarterback? How do we approach things? What do we do? Go check out that show. It's unpredictable is like the thumbnail, and then Nebraska could finish under 500 or 10-3. Now I'm going to be honest with you. Even when I recorded that show, I was like, if somebody said, "Hey, Adam, you have to choose. They're going to finish under 500 or 10-3." I mean, the odds are greater that they'd be under 500. I'm not saying either one of those is going to happen, but the odds were greater. Now with Dylan going out, check out the show. It's worth watching. We put a ton of work into it. But such is the life of someone covering a football team. All right, let me see. Change the lights, Adam. Okay, I will move. My apologies. Hey, I haven't done a gut reaction quite like this in a while, so it's all good. Let's get real. Let's get raw. You can start to see a few things about the Carriker Chronicles studio. All right. I'm just going to sit on my rear end right here. That's what I'm going to do. Sit on my big rear end. There we go. All right. We still got lights bugging me. We're just going to go over here. I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I'll move quickly. Addie, can you bring me the mouse, please? So my daughter's here. She's helping and everything as well. You're seeing all sorts of stuff you don't normally. There, look how much better that looks. All right. We'll never do that again. I do apologize, but it's all right. Hi, Addie.
Hi.
All right. Gut reaction. Let me know your thoughts, your questions in the comments. As always, again, if you want to wish Dylan a speedy recovery, smash the like button. So here's my instant reaction is we kind of had to know that this was a possibility. Man, that looks 1,000 times better. We had to know that this was a possibility of him being out for UCLA. Then you got a bye week. Maybe he's back for Penn State, even before we knew the details. Now we do know that as much as we're going to know for now that he's out for the rest of the year, unfortunately. So you got a guy like TJ Lateef. This is a guy who came into the game, hadn't played. How long ago was Akron and Houston Christian? Was that like a month and a half ago, 6 weeks? Hadn't played in the game, true freshman, teenage quarterback, and you don't get a ton of reps with the ones. So he's young, he's inexperienced, he earned the number 2 spot. You got Jalen Gramstad, who's been in college, I think it's 6 years. Okay, so he's got some experience. He beat him out. Remember, they recruited Jalen back because he might not have come back to Nebraska, and he beat him out. So he's a good quarterback. Talking about TJ, just needs to get some experience. You look at what he can do with his legs. He can do something no other quarterback on this roster can do to the degree that he can do it with his legs. I wonder if Harburg gets some reps at quarterback now, maybe as a third string guy, maybe as someone who can come in and have a little small package for himself. I have no idea. I'm just throwing that out there right now. TJ is a guy that's exciting. He wasn't getting many reps in practice, not compared to the starters. That's just not how it works. He was getting almost no reps with the ones because that's just how it works. The starters work with the starters. The twos work with the twos. The ones tend to get more reps than the twos for obvious reasons. And he hadn't played in a game in a very long time. And he was put in a situation. I'm not making excuses. This is the fact of the matter. Our offense didn't move the ball well. I mentioned this in my gut reaction. At one point in the game, after he'd been in for a while, we were averaging 1.9 yards per pass attempt. That is what it is. You know what it is. But the situation was a young man who hadn't played in a long time, hadn't gotten a lot of reps. The game plan was not built around his skill set. And it went the way that it went. Now, part of that's on the coaches. You got to have someone ready to play better than that. So that's part of that's on the coaches. Let's be real. You got to be able to have the next man up to be more ready than that. He's the two for a reason, but he's got to be able to threaten a defense more than he threatened USC's defense because they didn't feel threatened at all. And I'm not going to put that on a young player, but the coach has got to have the next guy up more ready than that. Now, we're going to have a week to game plan. TJ's going to get the reps. You got to have the next guy ready to play, whether it's Jalen, probably, I would assume, is the backup, maybe Harburg, whoever else, okay? But now they can build a game plan around TJ Lateef and his skill set and his legs and what he can do. He's got an electrifying ability. He's also got not a lot of experience. So you got to work with both. You can build a game plan around him. And if you're UCLA, you watch that USC film as you try to prepare for Nebraska. And I'm just going to be honest with you. You got to take it with a grain of salt because you got to imagine that Dana Holgorsen, all right, now that we know Lateef is our guy, we're going to build a game plan around him. It's going to look completely different than what USC saw. So if I'm UCLA, I'm taking that whole film and that second half with TJ at quarterback with a grain of salt. And I do want to say, I wish Dylan a speedy recovery. I hope he's back much sooner than later. This is a guy who's a leader on this team. Absolutely. The guys on that offense love him. Everybody I freaking talk to, from Ja'Cory Barney, like he's going to be at my wedding, like Nizat Hunter, that's my guy. I ride with him, like Emmett Johnson. They're close. I get the feeling like he's really, really good friends with Matt Rule. Like he's a leader on that team. He needs to maintain that leadership role. He really, really does, while he's obviously recouping and getting better. I don't have this confirmed. It doesn't sound like he's going to have surgery. Again, this is not confirmed at this point in time. Like the limited people I've heard from right now, it doesn't sound like he's going to have surgery when it comes to Raiola. But he can play a pivotal role as far as being a mentor to TJ, as far as helping him understand things. You've got Glenn Thomas. You got Dana Holgorsen. He is not without coaches. He needs a mentor and a leader to help TJ, and this offense needs someone to look to. That's got to be TJ, but Dylan can help facilitate that. Those are my final thoughts on Dylan for the moment. I will probably learn more tomorrow at Matt Rule's press conference. I'm going to get your questions, your comments, your thoughts, concerns, or otherwise. How much better does this look than where I was sitting? Good God, I apologize. I didn't think it would be that bad. You never get to see stuff like that behind the scenes with the Carriker Chronicles too often. If you follow me on TikTok, you do sometimes. But when it comes to TJ, it's an unfortunate situation, but it's exciting because now we can see what he can do and can see what his potential is. I remember last year when Dana came in, you saw how the offense looked after he'd been here for 2 weeks and only 1 week as the offensive coordinator, because that first week he was here, he was a consultant. Okay. Then as 1 week as an offensive coordinator to put in his game plan against USC, it was rough around the edges. But you could see kind of where it was going. I forget if it was the next game or 2 games later versus Wisconsin where we had the explosion. Now, Wisconsin was better last year than they are this year because they are bad this year, but they weren't great last year at all. Okay, so take that with a grain of salt. But my point is, I'm curious to see not just how we look versus UCLA, but what is the progression? Because then we have a bye week with TJ and TJ in this offense and TJ getting reps and TJ learning. And then we go to Penn State. And who knows if Penn State's going to want to play football or not. I do address how senior day might impact how they play that day in the other video. Go check that out. And then you got Iowa. By the time Iowa rolls around, it'll be UCLA, bye week, Penn State, Iowa. He's still going to be a teenager. He's still going to be young. He's still going to be relatively inexperienced, but he will have been in this offense starting games, and he will be much more in the flow, and they will have had a month to build around him, and he will be much more experienced at that point than he is now. I'm not saying doomsday for UCLA. They're as unpredictable as we are. Nico Iamaleava may be the most unpredictable quarterback in America, and TJ Lateef has never started an FBS game, and Nico may be more unpredictable than TJ. Probably not, but I'm kind of hoping he is. It's not doom and gloom out in Pasadena. I'm simply saying it's intriguing. I don't know what's going to happen. It almost makes it exciting. Another way someone could look at it is, we're screwed. Yeah, we're screwed. We were going to have a hard time winning anyways. TJ didn't look very good against USC. We're screwed. I don't know. I don't know. What I will say is they will have a week of preparation. He'll have a week of reps, and I do expect him to look better than he did against USC. How much, I don't know, and how much he progresses. It's going to be intriguing. It's going to be interesting. What do they do around him? What do they do with him? How do they try to utilize his skill set? What is he comfortable with doing? Because that's a conversation that he will have with Dana Holgorsen and Glenn Thomas and Matt Rule as well, TJ Lateef himself. All right. Let's see here. 3 games left. The best we could probably do is 7-5 right now. So I am going to say this. I have said all year, go check out the other video because I say it there too. We have to win 8 games for this to be a successful season. We don't have an update on Elijah Pritchett right now. We could have 3 offensive tackles that are out. We have a backup quarterback that's going to be playing. Not that experienced. Now, some people have asked me, why wasn't he playing more throughout the year so he'd be better prepared for that USC game? I think they were trying to save the red shirt. It's the risk you take. Do you waste the red shirt so he's experienced in case Dylan gets hurt? Or do you try to save the red shirt? They chose to try to save the red shirt. Dylan made it through all of last year, starting every game. So it's a catch-22. Oh, I knew where I was. Got lost in my train of thought. We had literally just finished putting out the other show, so my mind is all over the place, and I'm truly just gut reacting here. But I know where I was going. Do you remember playing Iowa last year? Sure you do. Do you remember who their quarterback was? I doubt. You want to know why? Because he was 3rd string. Didn't have a lot of experience. He'd started a couple games. He was a walk-on 3rd string quarterback. Do you remember who won that game? Iowa did. You know why? Because they figured it out. They figured it out. Every team has injuries. Now, some are more drastic than others. Some teams have more injuries. Some team injuries are more impactful than others. Losing your starting quarterback, that's pretty impactful. Okay, that's fair. But Iowa beat us with a 3rd string walk-on quarterback. You figure it out. I mean, I'm tempted to move the goalposts, which in my other video I said I wasn't going to, and say, hey, just get to what you did last year. You lost your starting quarterback. I'm not going to. We got to figure it out. UCLA is not some big monster. Penn State's tanked. They basically have tanked the season. You look at the challenge before us, and if we end up 7-6, 6-7, there's a built-in reason why some people would think that that would be fair, and I would understand it. I'm not going to move the goalposts. Teams have won championships with backup quarterbacks. Ohio State, I'm not saying we're going to win a national title, but Ohio State won a national championship with a 3rd string quarterback, Cardale Jones, who never started a game. Again, I'm not saying we're going to win championships. My point is I'm not moving the goalposts. Win at least 8 games this year. And I know that's brutal, and I know that's harsh, and I know the expectations for a lot of people just went like this after losing Dylan, which is interesting because a lot of people wanted to see what TJ could do. It's funny. The most popular guy on the team is often the backup quarterback. Or the next coach on the potential lead to be hired list. It's funny how that works. I'm going to keep the goalposts at win 8 games, and we're going to go to a bowl game, so 8-5. because you got to figure it out. And you look at Ohio State last year, they lost 40% of their starting offensive line. Their center won the Remington Award as the top center in America. Tore his Achilles, he was out. Their left tackle, Mr. Blindside protector, out. They moved their left guard out to left tackle, and their backup center came in, and they figured it out. I'm not saying we're Ohio State. I'm not saying we have to do the exact same thing. I'm saying it's not like I look at our schedule and I see a bunch of top 10 teams, top 5 teams, teams that just exponentially could just road grade us off the map. I see wildly unpredictable UCLA, wildly unpredictable Penn State, and Iowa, who's a solid team, who still has to play USC, still has to play Oregon. So maybe they have two losses. They're 9-2 in their top 10 when they play us, or they could have 4 losses. Either way, my point is I'm not moving the goalposts because it's a part of football. And now the coaches get an opportunity to show us what they can do. Maybe that's unfair. Do you think I'm being unfair? Let me ask you, do you guys think I'm being unfair by saying we still need to win 8 games? Ghost Striker Kate says, I like our progress, but it feels like we still keep trying to do something we're not. Blackouts are what other teams do. Stop copying others. All right. Do you think I'm being unfair? Our O-line can't block for the option. Heinrich Harburg never got it done at quarterback. Why are people thinking he can now while he's practicing at tight end? I don't think they're going to move him over. They have a package. I'm skeptical. Again, this is a gut reaction. I'm just spitballing here with a couple of things. 8 games is expected. Dylan being out makes that harder, but 7-5 is a fail. That's still where I'm at. Or 8-5. If we're 7-5, win the bowl game, that's still 8-5. Or if we're 8-4, lose the bowl game, I want to win it. But 8-5, I'm not moving the goalposts. Okay, Ryan, this is what some people are going to say. With how bad the offense has been, 8 wins would be a miracle. That's fair. I get it. I understand it. Maybe I'm being a jerk. The coaches have an opportunity. There's been some in-game things this year where some eyebrows have been raised and questions have been asked, and they're fair. This is their opportunity to step in, do a really great coaching job, and figure out how to get 2 more wins. 2 more. We're going to have, 4 more games? 2 out of 4. It's pretty good batting average. Congrats to the Dodgers on winning the World Series. It was either the Dodgers or Canada. I didn't know who to root for. It was either Goliath or Canada. I got nothing against Canada. I root for America. Anyways, I digress. All right, Adam Wilton. Even with TJ out, we should win the next 2 games. Even with TJ, we should win the next 2 games. Not without. Even with TJ, we should win the next 2 games. I'm with you. I'm just going to add we should win at least 2 of the next 4. Maybe I'm being a jerk. I don't know. Here are my questions for you fine folks at home. Let me know your answer in the comments below. Number 1. Are you looking forward to what TJ can do? Or were you dampened by what you saw Saturday night? I think it's unfair to judge him by that. Are you looking forward to seeing what he can do? Number 2. Will Nebraska beat UCLA now that we know who our starting quarterback is? And number 3, will Nebraska get 8 wins, including the bowl game, and finish 8-5 or better? Let me know your answer in the comments below. Again, go check out that other show. We have much better lighting for the whole show. And my wife spent a lot of time editing it, and I think it's a pretty good show. So again, that show is titled something to the effect of Nebraska could be under 500 or win 10 games. Obviously now I would err towards the first part of that. I don't think either one's going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, go Big Red, and always remember to throw the ball. That was an interesting one.